Okay, so today's daf is daf Masechta Gittin Daf Ayin Vav Amud Aleph, and we're going to start from 3 lines from the top with a ton of Rabbanim. I was just thinking this over. I'm just speaking out loud. Um, what we're dealing here is when a man gives a divorce to his wife, the whole parak is dealing with different conditions that the man makes, and I'm thinking to myself, why would a guy make such conditions? Just give the get if he wants to get divorced. So there are two major reasons that the examples that the Brisa gives is if they had a baby, and so he would want that to guarantee that after the divorce the wife will continue to nurse the baby. There is no infant formula, so if there's no food for the baby can die. So he'll make the divorce contingent upon she nursing the baby. Or, and even funnier, but let's say she's such a good daughter-in-law, she was taking care of the husband's father. So if she gets divorced and she's not gonna take care of him anymore, that could lead to his imminent demise of the father of the chassan, whatever, the father of the husband. So therefore, he would make a condition that you have to serve my father. So let's read the Brisa. 3 lines from the top. Tanu Rabban, the rabbis taught. The get is contingent upon a condition that you serve my father for the next 2 years. Or on the condition that you nurse my son for 2 years. I want to make sure that he's going to become a 2-year-old, and you're going to be nursing him. So you would think this is a valid condition. Says Rab Meir a surprising thing. Even though she didn't keep the condition, the get is valid. Why? The fee shaloi amala im tishamshi im shaloi shamshi im taneki v'loi taneki divrei Meir. Hi, Lewis. We just began. We're about 8 lines from the top, from Turner Rabbanan, just after Turner Rabbanan. So we just that's Ayin Vav. So the rabbis taught a man who made a condition for his wife and said the condition is that you have to. This divorce is contingent on you serving my father for the next 2 years, or you giving nursing our child for 2 years. That's the condition of the divorce. So the Brisa says that even if she does not fulfill the condition, it is still considered a good get. Hello, Sheldon.
Hi.
We just began. We're in Ayin Vav Amud Aleph.
Perfect.
And we're discussing about Ayin Vav Amud Aleph, about 10 lines from the top. So the condition, a man made a condition for a get and said to the woman that the condition is that you have to serve my father to make it a valid get. Or I want you to nurse my son for 2 years, and then it's a valid get. So the Brisa said that the opinion of Rab Meir is that even if she didn't keep the condition, it's considered a good get. Why? So there is a way to make a condition. You have to be very specific in your condition. You have to say that if you keep the condition, it's a good get. If you don't keep the condition, it's not a good get. And here the problem is, he didn't say that. He just said this is the condition, but he did not repeat what would happen if she doesn't keep the condition. So it's not tnai kafel. Kafel means you have to really go over your words and be very clear in what you mean. So because the man who gave the get to his wife did not do so, the condition is not considered a condition, and therefore it's a good get no matter what, even if she didn't keep the condition. That's the opinion of Rabbi Meir. But Chachamim said, no, a man made a condition, if she keeps the condition, only if she keeps the condition, it's a good get, and if not, it's not a good get. So Rav Shimon ben Gamliel is a third opinion. We don't know clearly what he means. He says, look at the Chumash. The Chumash, throughout Chumash, if you see, let's say, Avraham Avinu made a condition with his servant Eliezer, you have to find for my son Yitzchak. The Chumash gives conditions, and also by Tanai B'nai Gad, B'nai Ruvain, and in Tanakh we find conditions. By Saito we find the condition. So there's no Tanai written in the Chumash and Tanakh ain't a couple that you don't find that it's double. So Shimon Gamliel, we don't know what he means to say. What is Rabbi Shimon Gamliel come to say? Is he coming to argue against Rabbi Meir, or is he coming to argue against Rabbanim? So we explain like this: he's arguing against Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir says that you need a Tanai couple. You need to say the Tanai. If you keep the condition, yes, and if you don't can you keep the condition, no. So he's telling Rabbi Meir, this is what he's saying. This is what Rav Shimon Gamliel said. You're right. In Chumash, the Torah discusses the conditions. There's no Chumash Tanai that's not considered double, that the Chumash doesn't say it twice. But it's only written in a few places. And whenever you have two psukim that teach you the same idea, it's not a universal rule. So it's only in one place that we say it, which means that that was the condition that was written in the Torah by Saita, by Bnei Gad, Bnei Ruvain. But if you make your own personal condition, even if you do not double over your words and saying what happens if you don't keep the condition, it's still considered a good condition. So Rav Shimon Gamliel was actually arguing against Rav Meir. Rav Meir said it's not this in this case because the man did not repeat the condition wasn't a good condition. Rav Shimon Gamliel says it is a good condition. He was saying this thing according to Rabbanan. In other words, Rav Shimon Gamliel was arguing against Rabbanan. And this is what Rav Shimon Gamliel meant to say. We don't find in the Chumash, you're right, that the Chumash always, when it describes the condition, it's always double. You can't find it in the Chumash or in Tanakh where the Tanai was not doubled over. So therefore, we have to learn from that. In other words, even if you make a personal condition between you, a man, and his wife before a divorce, he has to follow the rules of making a condition. And if he did not, it's not a good condition. So basically, Rav Shimon Gamliel would agree to Rav Meir according to this understanding. So the bottom line is, Rav Meir says that because the man did not double his condition, therefore his condition is discarded, is void. Says the Gemara, Raminu, I'll ask you a contradiction. Again, a man made a condition to his wife. Here's your get on condition that you serve my father for 2 years. On condition that you will nurse my son for 2 years. So Mesa Ava and Mesa Ben, let's say the father died or the son died before the 2 years, so she didn't keep the condition. It's not a good get. They were a mayor. These are the words of a mayor. Hey, wait a second. Why would Rameh say that the condition is valid and she doesn't keep the condition? It's not a good get. The man didn't double over the condition. So why is the condition considered a valid condition? That's the contradiction. Not only that, if you look at the words of the Chachamim say, Apple pisha loy niskay matanai, areza get. Even if she doesn't keep the condition, it's a good. It's fine. Areza get. It's considered a get. Why? We ignore the condition. Here, the Chacham is just the opposite. We ignore the condition. She can say, Loi, I want to keep the condition. Bring me back your father and I will serve him. Give me your son back and I will nurse him. But the son died. So therefore, she can't keep the condition. So it's not her fault she can't keep the condition. So Chacham said, we void out the condition. And we say the get is valid despite the fact she did not nurse or serve his father for 2 years. Says the Gemara completes its thought. Kasha de Rameya, Kasha de Rabbanan, de Rabbanim. You have a question, a contradiction between Rameya and Rabbanan. In the first brisa, Rameya says the condition is voided out. And this brisa, Rameya seems to say the condition is valid. And the Rabbanan are both a contradiction. The first brisa says the condition is valid, and the second brisa, the Rabbanan say the condition is not valid. So the Gemara gives you the simple answer. You don't have a contradiction against Rameir. Also, over there, the reason why in the first brisa Rameir voided out the condition is tonight. He did not follow the directions of doubling over the tonight. He did not repeat himself. the condition is such, and if you don't keep the condition, then this is not going to happen. And because he didn't do that, so we voided out the condition. Over here, the reason why it's a valid condition in the second brisa is tonight, because he did follow the directions of doubling over the condition. Rabbanan, like Kasha, you don't have a stira against Rabbanan, because man chachamim dahacha. Who is the chachamim over here? Let's say you voided out a condition. The condition is a valid condition, but if the reason why she's not keeping the condition is because something not her fault, so therefore that is Rav Shimon. Then it's still a good get. Rav Shimon Megamliel he kol akava she'ena hemenu, any uphold that it's not her fault that she's not keeping the condition. Well, if her son died or the father died, so it's not her fault she can't keep the condition. So therefore, it's a hareze get, and it's a valid get. And so the author of the second brisa is Rav Shimon Gamliel. Nu Gemara, Tanu Rabbana, the rabbi said, a man said in front of two people, here is the get. Now, on the condition that you serve my father for 2 years. A condition that you serve my father for 2 years. Now, as I explained to you before, I think the reason why he makes such condition is because she was such a good wife taking care of his father that he's afraid that if she stops doing that, his father is going to die. So therefore, he makes the condition of the get contingent upon that she continues serving his father for 2 years. So that was condition. And he said that condition in front of two witnesses. And then he said to her, in front of another two witnesses, he made a different condition. The condition is that you get on the condition you give me 200 zuz. So which condition was the real condition? If he meant that she wanted her to follow both conditions, then why did he use two separate Eidim to say a condition for each? He should have said both conditions with one set of Eidim. So what he means to say is, the Bryce explains, those conditions are not voiding out each other. The second condition is not voiding out the first condition. So it means basically he was giving her a choice which condition she wants to follow. If she wants to keep a condition, she should serve his father. If she wants, then the condition is she pays a fine and gives him 200 shus. So therefore, that is that scenario when he made two different conditions in front of two different pairs of Aiden. If he said in front of two people, here's your get on the condition that you give me 200 zuz. And now then he says, because of Amala, and then he says, in front of other two people, inflation maybe. I want her to give me 300 zuz. So it's the same condition, just a different amount. So the Mishnah says, the Brisa says, the second condition voided out the first condition. Now, so I said, because it seems that he changed his mind. He says 200 zuz is not enough. That's why he took a second period of Adam and said, I want to change out the first. I said the condition is 200. I want to make it 300. Fine. Now the Brisa adds on a cryptic statement. Let's say you have only one person that saw the first condition and one person that saw the second condition. They will combine to become Adam. That to say that there was a condition here. So the Gemara says, Ahaya, what are we talking about over here? Do we say on the second? That means one guy saw that the condition was 200. One guy saw that the condition was 300. So of course, the first one that saw the 200 zuz, he's not even an aid because the second condition voided out the first condition. So if he was just an aid, a witness that saw the first condition, so we totally discard him. So he can never be counted as an aid. It's talking about the first case. One aide saw, let's say, the condition was the serving of the father, and one aide saw that the condition is that she gives 200 zuz. So they don't combine, even though the two conditions are valid. They don't combine to make a witness appear. I will say that she must keep a condition here, because remember, if there's no witnesses that testify that there was a condition to this get, the get is valid, even without her keeping the condition. So if each one did not see the same condition, they don't combine. So the Gemara says, Pshita, I would think that's obvious. They're not seeing the same thing. One saw the condition was serving the father. One saw the condition of serving of giving 200 sus. So the Gemara says, "Ma would the same. I would have called the Kayim with the Taim Mitzdarfim." Maybe they could combine to be a witness that says a general thing about this get. They'll say that there was a condition here. Albeit they're not saying that they each one knows of a different condition. I would think they could combine and hold the gate until she keeps any of the conditions. Kamash Malan, so it teaches you that if you don't have a set of Adim, a complete set of Adim that say testimony on the same condition, there is no condition. And therefore the get is considered a get even without any condition. Says the Mishnah, someone says, here's your get if you don't come back from now to 30 days. He says to his wife, I'm going on a trip, and if I don't come back from now to 30 days, that should be a get. Now, he was going from the south of Israel, Galil, to the north of Israel. And that's what he's saying. Let's say he's saying, if I don't come back from now to 30 days, here's your piece of paper, and considered it a valid get. Maybe he found somebody in the north. So basically, he's saying, I would think he's saying that if I stay in the Galil for 30 days and I don't come back, you have a valid get. So what is called the Galil? So the Mishnah says, if he reached the area, a city called Antiphras, that's according to the Mishnah, our understanding is Antiphras is the beginning of the Galil. So let's say he went to Antiphras, but came back within the 30 days. The condition is invalid, and the get is invalid because he came back within the 30 days from the Galil, and Antiphras is considered part of the Galil. Same idea again. It says that if I don't come back from now to 30 days, here's your get. Let me go a little bit Yehuda. And his intention was go from the north to the south, right? And he's saying, if I don't come back from the south for 30 days, here's your get, the Kfir Kfar Sinai. And he ended up in Kfar Asanai. According to the Mishnah's understanding, our understanding of the Mishnah, Kfar Sinai is probably the beginning of the south, beginning of Yehuda. So therefore, if he came to Kfar Sinai, and then he came back till tonight, then the condition falls away because, and therefore it's not a get because he invalidated the get by coming back within the 30 days from the south. Next part of the Mishnah. He says, if I don't come back for 30 days, here's your get. Now, he wasn't going to another part of Israel. He told him he wants to go to Medina Sayyam. He wants to go outside of Israel. Well, his intention was go to a foreign country. So the Mishnah says, the Igila Akko, he came to Akko, right? So the Chazar, and according to the Mishnah's understanding, when you get to Akko, Akko is not considered part of Israel anymore. So he left Israel. Because if he returned within the 30 days, Batal Tanai, he invalidated his condition because he came back within the 30 days. Next, final case in the Mishnah, he says, here's your get. If we don't see each other for 30 days, it's your get. Now the Mishnah says something shocking. If he came back and saw her within 30 days, so the Mishnah says, if he didn't keep the condition, he didn't invalidate the condition. The point is, he didn't sleep with her. So because just by appearing in front of her, that doesn't mean that it's a good that you violated the condition. So how is it again? Under this circumstance, it's considered to be again. So now the Gemara explains what the Mishnah is all about. Remember, let us say to replace the Antiphras Galil Havakaima. You're trying to tell me that Antiphras is in the Galil, right? Because that's what you're saying. That once a person reached this part of the Galil, and then he comes back, he invalidated it tonight because he came back within 30 days. So Antiphras is considered part of the north. Reminu, I'll ask you a question. Antiphras be Yehuda. The Brisa says Antiphras is part of Yehuda, and therefore Kfar Sinai and the city of Kfar Sinai is the Galil is in the north. It's just the opposite of what our Mishnah seems to imply. Antiphras is still like the most southern part, most northern part of the southern part of Israel. It's still considered south. It's still considered part of Yehuda. Kfar Sinai is the more southern part of the north, but it's still considered part of the north. It's Galil, just the opposite of what our Mishnah is saying. Meantime, and anything in between Kfar Sinai and Antiphras, we don't know if it's part of the north, part of the south. We consider it strict. If someone made a condition that if I don't go to the north or south and he gets to the places that are in between Sinai and Antriphis. So we don't know if he got to the north or if he got to the south and kept his condition. So it's a sifik at Mugrashes. We consider the lady as Mugrashes, that she can never marry a Kohen. Right? Now we go to Ein Vav and Bebis. And up at the page, in the Mugrashes, she's not Mugrashes. The point is, she can't get married with this get because we don't know. Maybe he reached the destination and came back and invalidated his condition. So we don't understand our Mishnah. Our Mishnah seems to say Antriphos is in the north, and then this price it says Antriphos is in the south. Our Mishnah says Kvar Sinai is in the north, and in this price it says Kvar Sinai is in the south. Omar Abba explains our Mishnah a little bit different, and this is very important. Trei Tenori Kamar law. Our Mishnah means that the man made two different conditions. He's on a business trip, and this is what he said to his wife: Matina lagalil. If I reach the north. As soon as I reach the north of Israel, that should be a get right away. Okay? As soon as I get to the Galil, I don't say get to Tzfas. I guess Tzfas is the Galil. So then right away it's a get. And then that was condition number one he made with her. Then he made a condition number two with her. If I just hang around the roads for 30 days and I don't come home, but when you sin, I don't come home. It's considered a get. So the only way it's a good get, it's either one of those conditions gets satisfied. So the Mishnah says, that's what the Mishnah says. He teaches Antiphros. Antiphros is a southern area because of that he came back. So now the little Gil, he never reached the north because Antiphros is the south. And not only that, he came back within 30 days. And he didn't reach he didn't diddle daddly on the road for 30 days. He came back home right away until tonight. So he voided out his condition. So therefore, it's not a good gift. And therefore, we can keep the Bryce's opinion that Antiphos is in the south. Next part of the Mishnah. So the Mishnah seemed to imply that he said a condition that if I don't come back from Medina's Hayam, from like Chutz La'aretz, then it should be a good get, right? If I don't come back for 30 days from Medina's Hayam. And the Mishnah says if you reach Akko and he comes back right away, so he did come back from Medina's Hayam, and therefore within 30 days. So he voted out his tonight. That's what our Mishnah says. So the Gemara says, maybe do you want to say you want to say that Akko is outside of Israel? So the Gemara says a story. Rav Safra said, when the used to live there, when the boys from Babel would come to learn in Israel, so the boys from Israel would escort the boys from Babel back home. They would escort them back when let's say they were going home back for Yom Tif, they would escort them to the Akoi. The Akoi have a mipatre. Everybody would part from each other in Akoi, and the people from Babel went back home. Because the people that live in Israel were not supposed to step outside of Israel. We should also one is not permitted to leave Eretz Yisrael to go to Chutz La'aretz. That's like a chumrah. I'm not sure if it's a real issur, but they were refusing. They were machmir just to only escort them to Akko, not beyond that, because Akko is considered to be Eretz Yisrael. But they didn't want to go to beyond that and escort them because the boys from Israel did not want to leave Israel. So what do you see from there? That Akko is Eretz Yisrael. And says the Gemara, Amar Abaya, so Trei Tenori Karmelite. You're right. Akko is part of Israel. But our Mishnah means that there are two conditions over here. He meant to say is like this: if I get to outside of Israel, and let's say I go to Italy or whatever it is, I have to have a gita. Even if I don't come back within 30 days, that's condition number one. Then right away it should be a get. And this condition number two, if I stay on the road for 30 days and don't come back, that should be a good get. So he made two different conditions, and whichever one gets satisfied, then it's a valid get. So the Mishnah, that's what the Mishnah says. He only reached Akko, which is Israel, because then he came back right away. So none of the conditions were satisfied. He didn't reach outside of Israel. He didn't stay outside of his house for 30 days, on the road for 30 days. So he invalidated his Tanoi, and therefore that's why it's not considered a good get. Now we go back into the Mishnah. The Mishnah said, he said, here's your get. We don't have to see each other for 30 days. And then the Mishnah says if they do see each other for 30 days, So then it's still considered a good get. Says the Gemara, it didn't go 3 days without him meeting his wife. So why is it considered a good get? He actually came home and said hello to his wife. He went out for a cup of coffee. What he meant to say is panaya tashmish. What he meant to say is that if we don't sleep with each other and we don't meet up with each other, then if we don't sleep with each other, then it should be a good get. And that's what he said. He didn't mean to say if I don't meet up with you for 30 days, it's a good get. He meant to say if I don't have relations with you for 30 days, then it's a good get. And the fact is, just because he saw her for 30 days, it doesn't mean he had relations with her. Why did he say it in such a language, saying if we don't see face to face with each other? What is it? He was using fancy language. He didn't want to say out that he means tashmish, that intimate relations with her. So he said, make sure we don't see each other for 30 days. But what he really meant was, if we don't have relations with each other for 30 days, it's a good get. So the Mishnah says, despite seeing each other for 30 days, if they did not have relations with each other, it's a good get. Rabbi Yochanan said, I could say Panayach Mamish. He meant to say that it is a good, that what he meant to say is that we don't meet each other for 30 days. Then it's a good get. But, so the question is, then why is it a good get over here? He met up his wife within the 30 days. So you have to look closely at the language of the Mishnah. Mishnah doesn't say she's right away divorced. Doesn't the Mishnah say that she becomes divorced? The Mishnah says hareza get. It's still considered a valid get. So if so happens that he goes for 30 days and not seeing her, this get that he wrote originally is considered to be a good get. And why shouldn't it be a good get? Because here's a very important point, and I didn't know this. It's called something called a get yashan, an old get. Let's say a guy writes up a get for his wife, and before he gives it, he takes her out for a cup of coffee. So then the get is invalid, because we're always choishish. There's a whole point that's called a get yashan. There's a reason we're going to learn later on about that. There's a reason is because we can think that they slept with each other, and if he gives the get later, people will say that the get happened before they had relations with each other, because they look at the time of the get. The get was written before they actually, they'll say that the get was written before they actually had relations with each other, and they're going to say this kid is something wrong with the yichus. So therefore, once a person writes a get, he can no more be in a private room with his wife. So here, although he met up with his wife, he could still use the original get that he got. It's not a good get, and it's not an invalid get. When he goes for 30 days and doesn't see his wife, having eaten, that's a good get. The Brisa seems to agree with Rabbi Yochanan that the reason of the Mishnah is that it's of Geshem, because Harei Gita, the Brisa just restates the Mishnah. Harei Gita, if a person says, "Here's your get, ma'am," if I don't see you for 30 days, he kept coming back to her for 30 days. Since he didn't have any yichud with her, that's considered a good get. We're not cautious that maybe he actually it's a get yashan because he actually didn't have relations with her. So says the Gemara a question. Let us be concerned. Maybe they made up, and maybe they actually, when he met her, he actually said, okay, and made up with her that we're going to get along from now on, and rip up the get that I gave for you. And she didn't rip up the get. And now he's going to come and say it's not a good get. So how do we say this is a good get? This is a good get. Maybe let's concern that the husband's come back and say it's not a good get. We made up that she was supposed to rip it up. That we know that when he gave her this get, he said another statement, that whatever she says, I believe. That if she says that we never made up, then we're going to trust her. When he says that, then you could always use this get with this kind of a condition of not meeting with each other for 30 days. One more thing. Once one person learned it on the Mishnah. If a person said, if someone says to a person, from now, if they don't come back for the 12 months, and he died within 12 months. So a guy gave his wife a get, and here's your get. It works from now if I don't come back for 12 months. But the problem is he can't come back. He doesn't even have an option because he died within the 12 months. So Harez a get, it's considered a get. So the question was, okay, why is it a good get? But maybe within the 12 months, if you have a 12-month condition in a get, perhaps during the interim, the man came back to his wife, they made up, Shalom bias, and he told her to rip up the get. No, she kept the get. So why do we consider it a good get? Because when he gave her this get, he also said, we're going to always trust her if she said that I never came back or I never made up with each other. So we'll end over here. One that said Rabbi Barafunas Teretz on the Mishnah. Well, in the Mishnah, he for sure didn't come back, but you must say, in order to make this a good get, you need that people heard him say that we always trust her. So certainly in the Brisa, in our Mishnah, if you learn it in our Mishnah that you need it, that in our Mishnah when he comes back you have to say it. Certainly in the Brisa, in the Mishnah, I'm sorry, in that Mishnah where he didn't come back, you have to have this condition that she is trusted. In the case of the Brisa, where he's coming back, certainly you need that he had to have said that we're going to trust whatever he said. On the Masno Brisa, but one that's learned it on the Brisa, that only in this case you need him to have said that we're going to trust you. But our Mishnah, the fact is he never came back. We don't have any proof that they ever came back and made up with each other. So why should I ever consider that they ever made up with each other? So even without us knowing that he actually said that we're going to trust her, Nemenesalai will still say it's a good. Okay, Be'ez Hashem, tomorrow we'll continue with the Mishnah and also discussing more about conditions.
Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Okay, good night, everybody.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.